Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. So we are starting with at-tadribat, the exercise of lesson number 19. We have at-tadrib al-awwal, yadrusu bakrun fil jamiati. Yadrusu means he studies. Bakrun, so here we have the doors, we say Bakr studies fil jamiati, in the university. So we are supposed to find this sentence from this list. So let me go through all of them and see if we find anything interesting. We have تذهب زينب إلى الروضة. إلى روضة. We don't have فتح here. إلى روضة. So تذهب, it means she goes, and it's referring to Zainab, right? Zainab goes to the روضة. الروضة إلى روضة. روضة means garden, right? Ar-Rawda is the garden. But in the context, it can also mean kindergarten, right? Kindergarten, right? So I think here that's what they mean, okay? But know that Rawda by itself, it means what? It means garden. So we have Ar-Rawda, that means the garden. Okay, so you can translate that Zainab goes to the kindergarten. Uh, يتعلم يتعلم, we have a shut down the lam. يتعلم they have a lot of mistakes here. سعيد يتعلم سعيد في المدرسة. يتعلم سعيد في المدرسة. سعيد يتعلم, it it has the same meaning as يدرس, which means to study. يتعلم probably would be better translate uh, to learn. Okay, to learn. This would be to study. They have the same meaning. So we can translate Saeed is learning in the school. Saeed is learning in the school. يحفظ بكر القرآن الكريم. يحفظ means to memorize. Okay, and because it's present tense verb he, so we use Bakr because that's the door. So Bakr is memorizing Al-Quran. He's memorizing the Quran. Okay, Al-Karim is an adjective to the Quran. Okay, so he is memorizing the noble Quran, and that's why we have Fatha, because it's copying from the Quran. It has Alif Lam, and it has to match everything, right? And remember, when we have present tense verb without the context, like just one line here, you can translate in two ways. You can say he, you can say memorizes, or you can say as a continuous tense, like memorizing. Okay, both ways is fine. But when you have a context, you're reading a text, then which one it will be more clear. يتعلم بكر في المدرسة. It's the same sentence that we had, only the name is different, right? يدرس بكر في الجامعة, and that's the sentence that we were looking for. Okay, that's the sentence we have to match with the first one. And the last one we have يعمل الوالد في الصباح. يعمل, it means to work or to do. Okay, to do something. Most of the time we use يعمل to mean work. So the father is working fi sabah, or here it's probably would be father works fi sabah. Sabah is morning, right? So we can translate that the father works in the morning. And then we have ismul waladi. Ismul waladi Saeed. The name of the boy is Saeed. Basically, the boy's name is Saeed, right? And other one is very simple. You just have to know Talib is student. So the name of the student, Bint is girl. It can also be daughter. We have Ibn is son. Jedda is grandmother, right? Uh, Here's the one. it should be walad. Okay, ismul waladi Said. So that's the one we're looking for. Okay, and we make the connection. And the last one we have ismul walidi Ali. Okay, so be careful with these two words. As you can see, they look alike. You have to know the difference. One is walad, and another one is walid. Walad is son, walid is the father. Now, next exercise. These are probably listening. We have to skip them. And we have exercise at tadrib thalith. Here they're talking about the zai and the sin. Zaif and saif. Zafir and safir. Okay. You can go through them, inshallah. And at tadrib al the fourth exercise, it says ajib. Ajib means to answer. The first question is Mimma tatakawwanu usratu bakrin. I think these are the questions you have to answer based on the text. So they will be testing you on your reading comprehension. Okay, so make sure when you read them, you understand, you can make a note so that you can answer this question. The first one says Mimma tatakawwanu usratu bakrin. What is Mimma? Mimma, it has two words. One is min, another one is man. Min means from, and man means who. Okay, so when you have mimman, yeah, you say from who. Okay, so now we have mimman tatakawwanu. Remember this word? Tatakawwanu means to consist of, to be included in. Okay, so it has this kind of meaning. So usratu bakrin. So the question is, if we translate word for word, it's probably going to be difficult. We can say from who the family of Bakr consists of, something like that. So basically, it's asking the family of Bakr consists of who? That's kind of question. Here you can say tatakawanu usratuhu, his family, family of Bakr. Then you say min walidin wa walidatin wa akhin wa ukhtin. Okay. And the next one we have ماذا يعمل والد بكر ووالدته. Walidatuhu is what? We have walida, which is a mother, and we have the pronoun who, which means his. So it means what? His mother. So it's asking ماذا يعمل. Mother means what? Usually we use mother for verbs like what are you doing? ماذا يعمل. What is uh, Bakr's father is doing, or probably you would translate what does Bakr's father do, and his mother. Okay, so it's something that you have to go back to the text. I believe uh, the father was muhandis, engineer, right? So you can say ya'malu waliduhu. You can say waliduhu just like that, right? Waliduhu what? Muhandisan. Muhandisan. Okay, so his father works as a engineer. And in the last lesson, I explained why we have a fatha. Inshallah, you can go back to that video. And then you can also say wa ta'amalu. You can say wa ta'amalu walidatuhu. I think it was muallimatan. Muallimatan. Okay. Now, and the next question we have Masmu ukhti Bakrin. What is the name of Bakr's sister? You can go to the text, and or you can just make some name up here. You can say ismu. You can say ismu ukhtiha. Okay, ukhtiha, and then whatever the name was. Okay, I don't know, it was Zainab or something like that. You can check. Now, Then we have Aina tadrusu Bakrun. Where does Bakr studies? You can find those answers in the text. It is very important that you go back to the text multiple times, look for the answers. What's going to happen is that it will help you with reading, also the vocabularies. Okay, so please do them and go back to the text and read them. I'll just go through the questions so that you understand what they're asking. Aina yata'allamu Sa'id? Where does Sa'id study? Right? I think he studies in the madrasa, right? You can say yata'allamu Sa'idun fil madrasati. You can start from here. Yata'allamu Sa'idun fil madrasati. Then Aina yahfadhu Sa'idun al-Quran al-Kareem? Aina means where. It's asking where does Sa'id memorizes al-Quran al-Kareem? I think he memorizes in the masjid, right? You can say yahfadu. You just can say yahfadu fil masjid fil masjid. So when you say yahfadu, it is already referring to Saeed. Okay. Now, ماذا يتعلم سعيد في المدرسة? What does Saeed learn in the school? Inshallah, you can go back to the text and answer this question. Okay, you will start saying يتعلم سعيد and then list. Next one we have التدريب الخامس كون جملا, make sentences. Okay, the first one we have بكر مهندسا, then we have والد يعمل. Now, the easiest way to make this kind of sentence, especially when you can identify that you have a verb, right? You have a verb, then the best way to construct is start with the verb. Okay, you start with the verb and then you look for the subject, the doer, the one who is doing the action. Okay, so let's start with the verb ya'malu, and then you're looking for who is doing the action. And how do we know who is doing the action? You look for dhamma, right? So walidu, here we have the dhamma, and looks like you have one dhamma here, so that means it is indication that we have this is a part of idafa. Okay, so and here we have the second part of idafa because of kasra, so we say this is your second one, and then we have muhandisan, and after that you look for either object or adverb or any other specifications. Okay, so that those things comes at the second or the third part. Okay, you understand? Because in Arabic, a verbal sentence are the one that starts with the verb. The default is that you say verb first, then subject, and then object. That is the default. Okay, and you can interchange them, but at this point or at this level, this is something that you won't be doing, but this is your default, and that's how you want to make verbal sentence. You understand? So you say ya'malu walidu bakrin muhandisan. For the second one, let's see if we have a verb. Yes, we have a verb, yata'allamu. Okay, so as I said, the easiest thing is to do is start with the verb and we look for the doer, and we have the doer Saeed, so that goes second, and then rest comes third. So we have fi, we can say fi, and of course you have to look for the meaning. The meaning has to make sense. Yata'allamu, it means to study. Saeed studies in madrasatil ibtidaiya, in the primary school. This sentence you can also say another way. You can also bring the noun first. You can say Saeedun يتعلم في المدرسة الابتدائية. You can also start with Saeed first. The meaning would be same. You can say يتعلم سعيد في مدرسة الابتدائية, or you can say سعيد يتعلم في المدرسة الابتدائية. But when you start with the noun, it is not verbal sentence anymore, right? Because the verbal sentence starts with the verb. When you start with the noun, it becomes nominative sentence. Okay, there's a distinction in Arabic language. Inshallah, we will study them in the future. Jade, we have again same thing. We have a verb here, so we can start with this tadhabu, and tadhabu we can look for the doer. Zainabu, very easy. And then rest, inshallah, it's very easy. Zainab goes to, uh, Zainab goes to Rawda, Rawda Til Atfal. Zainab goes to what? The kindergarten. And same thing, you can do the fourth one. Here's the verb. You start with the verb first, and here's the doer. And now, now it's a little bit tricky because after that, what do you say? So you can go back to this format: verb first, then the subject and the object. If you find the object, you should be using that object first. So how do you know if there's object? Yahfadu Sa'idun. Sa'id memorizes. What does he memorize? And we have Al Quran. Okay. And then so we can use that as number three. And Al Karim is your adjective, right? So it always comes after the noun. And then you can have the preposition, uh, and then jar and majrur. Okay. So you say Yahfadu Sa'idun Al Quran Al Karim fil masjidi. You can say Yahfadu Sa'idun fil masjidi al Quran al Karim. You can say that. It's not a problem, but in the beginning, you probably want to stay with the default format. Okay. And like I said, you can also start with Sa'id. You can say Sa'idun Yahfadu al Quran al Karim fil masjidi. And inshallah, you can do the rest. Jayid. So next exercise at Tadribu Sadis, the sixth exercise, it says Akmil. Akmil to complete. Bakrun yadrusu fi. Bakr yadrusu. Why does he study? Uh, I think here we can use sof. We can use a sof. What is sof? Sof is class. So saful awal or safil awal, because we have a fi. So sof here it means class, but when we translate, we probably want to say grade. Bakr studies in the first grade. Second one, يذهب سعيد إلى المدرسة. يذهب سعيد إلى المدرسة. Said goes to the school in في الصباح. في الصباح, in the morning. Okay, في الصباح, in the morning. And we have تتكون الأسرة. The family is consist of. Here the mean will be translated as of. So the family is consist of والد ووالدة وأخ وأخت. أخت. Okay. Then we have سعيد تلميذ في. Uh, Here you can also say الصف. Okay, الصف الرابع. He is a student. تلميذ is a student also, right? Just like طالب. So when we say سعيد تلميذ, it is a complete sentence. Uh, سعيد is a student. في الصف الرابع, in the fourth grade. يعمل الوالد. So the father works. Here the sentence is complete. The father works, but we want to specify how does he work. He work as what? So he works as engineer. Muhandisan. Muhandisan. Okay. I don't know if I mentioned that, when you have double fatha, you have to add this extra alif. This alif is only for writing convention. This alif doesn't make any meaning difference. It just when you have double fatha, you have to add this alif. Okay, except for tamarbuta. When you have tamarbuta, you don't add. For example, here, ta'amalu al-walidatu. The mother works as mu'allimatan. Mu'allimatan. Okay, you don't have to add extra alif. يذهب سعيد إلى المسجد. إلى المسجد. You can say fi sabah or fil masa. I'll just write masa right now so that we see the two times. We have sabah is the morning and masa is evening. Now, and then we have yadrusu bakrun fi jami'ati fi jami'ati Umm Al Qura. So he studies in the University of Umm Al Qura. We say Ummi because this is what the second part of idafa. We explained that thing in the last class. تذهب زينب إلى روضة إلى روضة الأطفال. Zainab goes to the kindergarten. So remember this phrase we had, or actually hadith we had. طلب العلم, the seeking of knowledge, فريضة على كل مسلم ومسلمة, every male Muslim and every female Muslim. In Arabic language, when you just say على كل مسلم without saying this part, it's clear that it includes both male and female. It is clear that it is a general statement. We don't have to say Muslimin wa Muslimatin. But when we do that, it is an emphasis. Okay. The other one was clear, but now we're emphasizing that it is obligation on everyone. You understand? Now, then we have التدريب السابع, the seventh exercise, فهم المقروء. So فهم المقروء. فهم is understanding. Makruh is something that has been read. Remember, we have qira'a is reading, yaqra'u is reading. This is the verb, this is the verbal noun. So makruh is something that is read. So basically, it's going to ask you from the reading comprehension that we had. So it says ضع علامة صحيح أمام الإجابة الصحيحة كالمثال. So put this check mark front of correct answer, like the example. Okay, so the example they give you, يتعلم سعيد في, he studies in the primary school. Okay, so the first one we have يعمل والد بكر مهندسا, right? And سعيد تلميذ في uh, I'm not sure, probably الصف الرابع. You can double check, okay? And then we have يحفظ سعيد القرآن الكريم في الصباح في المدرسة في المسجد. I think they mentioned the masjid. طلب العلم فريضة على كل مسلم ومسلمة. Okay, so these are very easy. Inshallah, you can continue. And we have التدريب الثامن, the eighth exercise. It says اكتب المؤنث. Write the feminine word or the feminine version of the word. So some of these things we have studied before, right? So we have muhandisun, which is an engineer, but when you say muhandisun, it means you're talking about a male engineer. So how do you say a female engineer? It's very simple. You just add tamarbuta. You say muhandisatun. Talibun, you say talibatun. Tilmidun, you say tilmidatun. Okay? Inshallah, they're very easy, right? Walidun is father, and how do you say mother? Walidatun. Okay, you just add tamarbuta. Sagirun means small, but when you're describing a female noun, then you have to make your adjective also into female. Then you say sagiratun. Okay, and then we have Uktub, write musanna. Now they want you to make these words into musanna. We have studied them before, so these are very good for a review and practice. So please don't skip them. I'll just do a few of them, and inshallah you can do the rest. So we have, they give an example, muhandisun, and you say muhandisani. Muhandisani is two engineers. Talibun is a student. You say talibani, two students. Tilmid, tilmidun, tilmidani. Okay, tilmidani. And we have walidun, you can say walidani. Now, when you say walidani, usually it will take a different meaning because walid is father. When you say, and when you say two fathers, because we don't have two fathers, so the meaning changes. Meaning will be parents. Okay? When you say walidani, it would be parents, meaning both father and the mother. Okay, so this is very interesting in Arabic language. In general context, that's what walidani would mean. It would mean the parents. In other context, when you are talking about two different fathers from two different family, right? Then yes, walidani would mean that you're talking about two different fathers. But when you're referring to one person and you're telling him walidani, then it would mean that his parents. You understand? So Arabic language is pretty dynamic. It will change the meaning based on the situation, right? Now, uh, again we have Savirun, and you can say Savirani, Savirani. Now, why do you want to say, because Savir is small? Why do you want to say too small? Because you have to. This is an adjective. You have to match with the noun. So if you're saying two boys, waladani, waladani, okay, then you say Savirani, Savirani. Inshallah, the rest you can, inshallah, do them. And we have at-tadrib al-ashir, the 10th exercise, uktubil jam'a. Jam'a is plural. And here specifically they're talking about sound plural. Okay? Jam'u mudhakkar salim. The sound masculine plural. How do we make sound masculine plural? By adding waw and noon. Una. Muallimu, muallimun, muallimuna. Muhandisun, muhandisuna, muhandisuna. Okay. Jazzarun. Remember the jazzar, the butcher. Jazzaruna. Okay. So we are talking about plural. Inshallah, all of them you can do is very easy. Muslimun, muslimuna. Next we have at-tadrib al-hadi ashara, the 11th exercise. It says استخدم ما يلي في جملة كالمثال. استخدم means to use what is following in a sentence, as shown in the example. So we have an example. So we have a phrase here, fil jami'ati, and they want you to use this phrase in a sentence. And we have an example here, yadrusu bakrun fil jami'ati. Bakr studies in the university. And we have, I'll do a few of them. We have fi sabahi, in the morning. You can say يذهب بكر في المدرسة في الصباح. Okay, so you can say يذهب بكر في المدرسة في الصباح. Okay. Then we have في المسجد, in the masjid. You can say يحفظ بكر القرآن الكريم في المسجد. Okay. Inshallah, I think they're easy. You can do them. I'll just mention a few more. We have fil madrasati. You can say Saeed yadrusu fil madrasati, or you can say yadrusu Saeedun fil madrasati, and you can say تذهب زينب في روضة الأطفال, right? So inshallah, I think they are very easy. Next exercise we have التدريب الثاني عشر, the 12th exercise. ضع كل اسم مما يلي في جملة. So put every noun, the following nouns in a sentence. So they give you طالب, and they give you an example. بكر طالب في الجامعة أم القرى. We have تلميذ. تلميذ is also a student. Depends on where you use the word tilmid. The most situation, especially the context we have right now here, it means the school students, like schoolboy. It can also mean like disciples. Like for example, you have a teacher, and there are a lot of students coming, learning from him, and they're following him. So those students can also be tilmid in a sense that they're disciples of this master, this teacher. Okay, now. So here you can say, for example, we had in the text, Sa'idun tilmidun fil madrasati. Okay. So Sa'id is a student in the school. Now, Tabib, you can make a simple sentence, say, for example, Walidu Bakrin Tabibun. Okay. Same thing, you can also write the way that we learned in this lesson, saying that Ya'malu, Ya'malu Walidu Bakrin Tobiban. Tobiban. Okay. So pretty much you're saying the same thing. You're just using a different expression. Here you're saying that Walid's father is a doctor, and here you're saying that Walid's father works as a doctor. Okay. Now, here Muhandis, you can use similar sentences. Inshallah, these are not very difficult. Bait, you can use some of the previous examples or the sentence that we have learned. For example, you can say Baitu Bakrin Qaribun min al Masjidi, and then Sagiratun. You can say, for example, Amama Amama al Baiti, in the front of the house. Hadiqatun Sagiratun, front of the house there is a small garden. Qira'a, you can say يتعلم سعيد القراءة. Okay, Said is learning the reading. The next exercise we have التدريب الثالث عشر, the 13th exercise. We have هذا طبيب هو يعمل طبيبا. So we already talked about this kind of sentence, right? يعمل, it means to work. When you say huwa ya'malu, this is a complete sentence. He works. Okay, so but if you want to specify what type of work he does, at that time you can mention the type of work. For example, here is tabib, and then you have to put this word in fatha state, like mansub. In Arabic, it's called mansub. At this stage, this term is not that super important, but only thing you have to know that you have to specify the work using fatha. Why don't you say in one fatha, for example, Tabiba? Because the word is what is indefinite, right? The word is indefinite. The word is tabibun. And when you make this word tabibun with tanween and you make it into fatha state, which is the accusative, or mansub state, you have to keep your tanween. You cannot change the tanween. So you have to say tabiban. Tabiban. And I already mentioned that this alif is coming because of this tanween of fatha. We don't need alif for tanween of Dhamma or the tanween of Kasra. Okay. Now, so let's see. We have Hada Mudarrisun. This is a teacher. By the way, this is a complete sentence, right? Hada Mudarrisun. This is a teacher. We have a definite and we have an indefinite. Okay. And if you make both of them definite, Hada al Mudarrisu, first thing you have to lose your tanween, right? And second thing, this is not a sentence anymore. It would be this teacher. Okay. And here it is, this is a teacher. I think you understand them. Inshallah, we have talked about this before. Now you want to convert this sentence into this kind of form. Huwa ya'malu mudarrisan. Mudarrisan. Okay, so make sure you have fatha with this alif. Then we have hada harisun. What is haris? Haris is guard. You know, the guard looks like a scary guard here. You say huwa. Now they gave you the specification. They gave you the type of work he does. So you have to say huwa ya'malu. Huwa ya'malu harisan. Okay. Hada muhandisun. Looks like they filled the other one. So you have to say huwa ya'malu muhandisan. Hada dabitun. Dabit is officer. Right. Huwa ya'malu dabitan. We have a few more, inshallah, you can do them. Just one thing I wanted to mention. Remember, when if the word is ending with tamarbuta and you have put double fatha, you don't put the alif.